Hey everybody, I hope you're enjoying your weekend and trying to stay warm in this cold weather. Um, Missing the 70-degree days for sure. Wasn't quite prepared for this chilliness yet, but we'll make do. Um, Talking about chapter 10 and health contexts, and how communication can help in health related instances. So, the first theory I'm going to talk about is the narrative theory in health, which talks about when a person is diagnosed with a serious health condition, narratives help participants create meaning and help explain uncertain circumstances. And it also says that stories allow the storyteller, the person who has been diagnosed, to understand the altered situation and come to know one's new role. And I think that's very important, especially when you are diagnosed with a serious illness such as cancer, like the example that they used in the book with Jane. Um, I think being able to talk about your situation and realize that, okay, this happened, there's nothing that I can do to change it, so this is what it's going to do for my life. This is going to be my story, and how I'm going to get people to understand my story and what I stand for and what I believe in. The next one was entertainment education. I found this one very interesting. Um, I've never really thought about TV shows and commercials in this way. I knew that they were trying to get us to do something or not do something, but I didn't think this in depth about it. So, entertainment education is how the messages overcome resistance and produce the intended outcome. And it says that people are more likely to accept your message if they are not being forced to do something, and they're willing to do it, and they can get swept up in the message, which is parasocial interaction and transportation. Um, and it talks about how if someone is interested in your message, it might instill fear in them or make them feel they're in danger, or it might have no effect on them at all because it doesn't actually apply. So this just made me think about the texting and drinking and driving commercials a little differently. They've never really had that big an effect on me, but that's because I don't do those things. I don't really drink, so drinking and driving would never really be a situation that I would get into. But just because it doesn't apply to me doesn't mean that it still doesn't put me in danger, because someone else could ignore the message and go and drink and drive and think they're fine and could get in an accident with me who has done nothing. So just a different way to look at that. The theory that really hit me was a theory of normative social influence. Um, it says that we often imitate what we think many others are doing, and are also influenced by what we think others want us to do. I think this relates a lot in high school, and in the first few years of college, but mainly high school, when you're really trying to figure yourself out and who you are and what you believe and stand for, and kind of create that friend group that cherishes the same things as you and values the same things as you. Um, so I think that at that stage in your life, this is very relevant. And it talks about descriptive norms, which conceptualize as perceptions about the prevalence of a behavior among members of a referent group. It also talks about injunctive norms, which are beliefs about what ought to be done by others. It also talks about outcome expectations, the belief that, excuse me, enacting a given behavior will confer desired results for oneself or others. Um, this might sound really silly, but this theory made me think of the TV show Gossip Girl. And if you've never watched Gossip Girl, it's about some rich kids who live in the Upper East Side, um, and some of them are very stuck up. They're all rich, and have everything handed to them. And then there's a brother and a sister, Dan and Jenny, and they go to the same school as these rich people. Dan, the brother, doesn't really care about fitting in with the in crowd. He ends up dating one of the in crowd girls, but it never really changes who he is, at least at the point I'm at in the show. But his sister Jenny gets pulled into that, and she does things that she would have never done unless she was trying to get in with this group, such as drinking. So far, no drug use has been there, and she is denied any sexual pursuits by men in the show. But just the drinking and what they do, it can put Jenny at a health risk, because she's stressing herself out trying to fit in with this crowd and doing things she doesn't normally do, because she thinks those are the things she has to do for these people to like her. And although that might be the case, if you have to change yourself and what you do and what you believe in for people to like you and for you to feel like you fit in, then you're trying to enter the wrong crowd. You have to find people that have things in common with you, that you don't have to change anything about yourself to feel accepted. And I think that's very important, especially in the high school years, like I said, in the first few years of college, because that's really when you're figuring yourself out and trying to fit in and feel accepted. So yeah, that's all I've got for you. I hope you enjoy, and as always, I look forward to hearing your comments back and our discussion in class on Monday. Have a good rest of your weekend and stay warm.